It was actually Malachi Martin who really gave the game away, to tell you the truth. And it was really funny because Bishop Alfred Mendez asked me to go and see him and talk to him about this.
He said, him or Malachi?
I had already visited with Mendez about it. He wanted me to go interview Martin. He said he probably knows something about it. Neither one of us knew that he was one of the conspirators, for heaven's sake. Anyway, so I went there to see him, and I was not really prepared for what I encountered there. Among other things, I wasn't prepared to see him living with a concubine, but that's what she was. I'm sorry.
Was that down in Florida?
No. This was at 63rd and Lexington in his 4th-story apartment that must have cost a fortune in Manhattan.
New York, yeah, okay.
Right. Catherine Lavanos, divorcee, had been married to a Greek fishing magnate, somebody like Onassis, And when he died, the New York Times referred to Catherine as Martin's longtime companion. Cardinal O'Connor's secretary, Father Weirden, wrote a letter in which he said they were married. And later, Martin's Jewish attorneys forced him to retract. But all he would say in the retraction is that I have no information that they are sacramentally married. But in any case, Martin was absolutely freaked out that I had figured this thing out. He wanted to know, who are you working with? Who are you working for? Where are you getting your money to delve into this? This kind of thing. And he'd call me up. How's the book coming? Because he knew I was, at Bishop Mendez's request, I was working on a manuscript. And so they were anxious to do something to quash this work. So he published a book called The Keys of This Blood, trying to anticipate what evidence we were going to bring to bear. And so he tries to
he's preempting you, right?
He tried to refute my thesis with a preemptive counterattack. And here's some of the jazz that he had in his book. He says, it is certain that within the 1963 conclave voting, Siri had garnered the required number of votes to make him Pope-elect. Well, what's the difference between a Pope-elect and a Pope? A Pope-elect has just been elected. A Pope has just accepted office.
Yeah.
Okay? Then he goes on, he says, the Siri nomination and election were set aside. No, not the nomination. He was already elected and already accepted office. But this is, typical for Martin's weasel words. The Siri nomination and election were set aside by what has been called the little brutality. The little brutality. Once the conclave area of the Vatican has been sealed off, there are supposedly no communications with the outside world except in the gravest necessity. Such grave necessity would be the physical needs of the electors or grave reasons of state, such as the very existence of the Vatican City State or its members or dependents. Now, what would threaten the very existence of the Vatican City State, its members and dependents? How about hydrogen bomb, huh? I don't know anything else that would make it no longer exist. And he goes on. At least one cardinal elector did have a conversation with someone not participating in the conclave. The someone was an emissary of an internationally based organization. Guess what that was? The B'nai B'rith.
Oh my.
And that has been thoroughly exposed by a number of sources in France, including Father Henri Moreau in his Bonum Certamen newsletter years and years ago. I went and visited with Father Henri. I went and visited with him in, I guess it was 1995, I think it was. Told me all about it. Anyway, And he goes on. He says the conversation between this emissary and the cardinals did concern the Siri candidacy. Now, so see, he's back. He's walking that back. No longer Pope-elect, now just a candidate, right? What is certain is that the Siri candidacy was laid aside. No, he wasn't a candidate then. He was already elected Pope, okay? And most probably in connection with that conversation. The only other viable candidacy available was Montini's. After a 3-day conclave, he emerged as Paul VI. Montini would give the anti-church its head. And that part he got right.